Hello, Class 5. We're going to talk about one of the most talked about films ever today, Paris, Texas, directed by a German director, Wim Wenders. I think that's a huge part of the mystical appeal of this film. He's German. It's the romantic view of United States, all our space, all our chances to become different people. So the film was made in 1983. It was actually released in 1985. If you received, I know you did receive the link that I sent, but with that was a huge link to a whole lot of extras. Wim Wenders talking, Sam Shepard's view of it. So I'm sort of adding froth to all this by even talking now, because I hope that you'll take the time, if you feel like it, to watch all that. I mean, it's probably longer than the movie, but this is such an iconic movie. It was, as I said, written by Sam Shepard, one of our greatest American playwrights. And if you're familiar with all this, he wrote the first half of the screenplay and they started. They didn't even have an ending. He got involved in something else and had to leave and wrote the final half of it, sent it, and sort of conferred on the phone with Wim Wenders about how this would go. Now, I'm going to send you the New York Times review of the film, which definitely finds this detrimental to the film. I don't, a lot of other people don't, but the New York Times felt that the film was two films, first half, second half. Let me get my notes so that I am sure to include everything that I wanted to say to you. So first of all, let's talk about Wim Wenders. If you have not seen his movies, this is somebody's name you should at least try every time you see he's done something. I've shown in the class Pina, the dance movie. That was another of his. He just finds these wonderful things and makes a film out of it and gives you the world. Wings of Desire, I love this movie, and it's very highly regarded. Nobody I've ever recommended it to liked it, but I love it. And the big thing about it is it was filmed by chance before the Berlin Wall fell in Berlin. So it is like the last remaining footage of what Berlin was like before it became what it is now, which is, super-sized, super modern city. And it's very interesting for people who knew before to see all this. I mean, there was so much wasteland. So that's Wings of Desire, aside from the fact that it's about angels. I like the idea. Oh, so this film was half written by Kit Carson. His son plays the little boy, Hunter, in the film. He sort of stepped in when Sam Shepard got busy with something else. Just a couple of things I want to point out. It is so full of so much. But notice how the film goes from red to blue. Wild and to blue, which is serene and calm. And he takes this color theme. There's so many things in it. The filming, the sites that he chose in Texas. There are books about this, and I'm going to send you in the email links to all these books. You can probably get them from the library. You can, if you want to buy them, bookfinders. It's fascinating. The whole film is just a work of art. Remember, the director of photography, Robbie Mueller, is German. These are Germans looking at United States and capturing a real part of I think it is a myth, personally. I don't know what you think, that you can go and begin a new life anywhere. So as the film opens, it's very important. This guy is wandering out of the desert in a suit and jacket. So we know this is a little bit of a fable. So this is a film about what some believe to be the American way of life, and probably a lot of that is true. Okay, I'm now going to read to you. This is just from a random viewer who had, on the site, who talks about the film. You can read so much about what ordinary people think about this film, but this letter I liked a lot. I first saw this film almost 15 years ago and thought about almost nothing else for at least a month. I have never seen a film before or since that presents the extremes of love, pain, and loss with such immediacy and ruthless candor. Watching this film with openness, identifying with the characters, made me wince and writhe in sympathetic agony. I didn't cry. Rather, I was reminded of all the times I have wept in my life and why. Perhaps each person has a film, usually a masterpiece, which affects him or her so strongly that is beyond description. This one is mine. Okay, so I do want to go on and let you hear what the ever-faithful Roger Ebert, little bits of what he had to say, and I am sending all these for you. And, no, this is not it. So, here is Roger, who gave it, of course, as many stars as possible. And this was written in 2002. The man comes walking out of the desert like a biblical figure, a penitent who has renounced the world. He wears jeans and a baseball cap. Yeah, but he also wears a tie. I thought he was in a suit. The universal costume of America. But the scraggly beard, the deep eye sockets, the tireless lope of his walk tell a story of wandering in the wilderness. What is he looking for? Does he remember? Wim Wenders' Paris, Texas is the story of loss upon loss. And this is, by the way, Harry Dean Stanton, great actor, who just recently died, actually, playing this part. I'm just going to skip down to a little thing to address some of the plot lines that people have thought about. Travis is not insane. This is Travis. And he's not acting out of alienation. He is simply lost in grief, despairing at the way his marriage was joyous for a brief time and then was destroyed by his own drinking and jealousy. He stays for a time with the Hendersons, slowly wins Hunter's trust. The Hendersons are his brother and sister-in-law. And they walk home from school together. But we see him observing his son living in this, what is accepted as middle-class American home. And he decides that, no, I should return this child to the mother. So they set out together on yet another journey to find the mother. And before he decides what he will do with the boy, he questions the mother. And she assures him that she's not a prostitute. She only works in this, of course, bizarre, only in America, sexual den where she sits and talks to people through glass. So he's carefully thinking about his son. Just let me get to what I want to tell you. He says, never mind. Wenders uses the material of realism, but it's still a fable, as much as his Great Wings of Desire is a fable. It's about archetypical longings set in the American myth. The name Travis brings back Travis McGee, the private investigator who rescued souls and sometimes fell in love with them, but always ended up alone on his boat. Also Travis from Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro. I don't know if it's a coincidence about these names or not, but Travis is in this. Natasha Kinski, I just want to mention her because she's very, very young in this film, also a German actress. So everybody came from Germany to make a film about America. She was very young. They decided to make her very blonde, and I think she's stunning in the film. I'm going to send you the New York Times, which feels she was totally miscast. The film has every aspect to it possible. You cannot just watch it once. You have to watch it several times. If you listen to Wim Wenders in the material that I sent to you, you'll understand that a lot of it, they were improvised. They were just, it was shooting from the hip, so to speak. They had a lot of problems with labor unions making the film. They just wanted to get it done. Everybody involved was just doing their best creating, and to come up with what is considered a masterpiece is pretty remarkable. It catches Texas. It catches these people with almost no past, no future, just the way life goes. It kind of goes like that. It's fascinating. The acting is fascinating, and it is a Wim Wenders masterpiece. So watch it, please, and watch all the extras I sent. And now I'm going to send you even more. But you'll really have access to a terrifically interesting film. And also Sam Shepard. We have to tip of the cap to him. Great writing. Okay, see you next week.